Wir können weiter applaudieren zum Aufwachen. Schön, dass ihr da seid. Ganz herzlichen Glückwunsch zur Premiere eures Films. Wir haben auch ein kleines Geschenk für euch. Und zwar ein paar Blümchen und auch was zum Trinken für eure Premierenfeier gleich. Schließt dich gerne an. Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Yeah, I think Matthias Fritze is also here, our wonderful editor.
I wanted to start to thank our fans who made this film possible. It was the ORF, the public broadcaster of Austria, the Ministry of Arts and Culture, the City of Vienna, and the Screenwriters Forum Vienna. And I wanted to thank both of you for your passion and for your power you put in the film and all the love, and the entire crew, because with such wonderful people it's possible to make this film. It was a long journey, a couple of years, and thank you for all your efforts and for your thank you.
And it's your first feature also. Congratulations to that.
You wanted to invite some of the crew is here, and you wanted to invite them.
Yeah, okay. Let's start with Andrea, who's in the film. You've all seen her, so maybe you want to come down. Andrea. So many people making this film. And some had to stay in Vienna for reasons. And some came from Beirut for reasons.
So thank you all so much for being here with us. And let's talk about the film. Let's go into the images. And some of you will stay, some won't, as far as I know. Yes. Thank you so much for coming, and of course you can join the conversation as well. Yeah. It's part of the premiere, the magic. I also blacked out on your names, I'm so sorry, this happens sometimes. I would really like to speak about how you are all feeling right now, because all of you are very closely connected to Lebanon. You have been traveling there first through an NGO, you have been living there. This is your city, right? So how are you all feeling? I mean, Lebanon is in a really, really harsh moment right now, and just the recent 2 weeks have been really extreme, and it was impossible, of course, to plan the moment in which you are now releasing this film. So how are you all feeling to present this film now? And yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy that it exists right now, so I have also tears in my eyes watching it again. And it's very sad what's happening right now to Beirut and its people. Yeah.
Maybe Andrea should say something. She's the only...
If you're comfortable, of course.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm not only sad, I'm very angered, and this was you know, this became our second home for years, and I feel there's a lack of understanding and closeness, and a lack of seeing people as, you know, as us. There's a sense of othering that we don't support, and the only thing that we can hold on to right now is hoping that the film can kind of bridge that gap. Other than that, I would have obviously wished it would have come out in a way different time, and we were always hoping for things to get better, and we always felt like there was a lot to carry already, and for the people now to carry even more feels unbearable, and I mean, we're not even there, so, but maybe you want to add.
Yeah, okay. I think it's a bit, I think it feels a bit absurd to actually watch that movie now. Like, it's not, I'm not gonna be able to pinpoint how I feel or how, like, even my thoughts about what's happening now in the country. Like, I left Beirut 3 days ago. But something we talked a lot about is the how, like, a big goal of this movie is to humanize the people from the Middle East. And really, like, I think that was, for me, with the war in Gaza and with the war now in Beirut, it was just a big slap to the face of how much, like, I knew that. I think growing up in the Middle East is something you know. You see a lot of horror in the Middle East, like even us between us. But I think this idea of humanizing the people and how much we're dehumanized now is something that is very precious to me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an intimate film, and it has so many layers. I think the first thing when we start watching the film is we see how many lives are happening at the same time, and how you weave them together, also not only with the public sphere, but then also with the private sphere, with everyday life, like how all these complicated crises which happen all at the same time come together, and how people deal with them. And I find it really beautiful, like this portrait you weave of the place, and of course I'm very curious, like how you decided to create this like multi-layered perspective, and how you chose with whom to work, and of course from your perspective also, Andrea, like how you found your place in this film, like how you talked about it, how the structure would maybe be of the film. Was everything clear from the beginning? You worked a long time on the film, no? So share the process with us a little bit.
Nothing was clear in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, how could it have
No,
been?
I mean, we even arrived and we packed the camera just in case, and we weren't even making a movie when we first arrived. So we were just going to see how everyone is doing, how the city is doing, how the people are doing, how our friends are doing. And Andrea was actually a friend of a friend, and it's hard not to fall in love with her, so we did the first time we met her. And I think it was Jakob who was kind of like shyly asking, so we were thinking about making a project, and would you be up for being part of it? And I think you didn't know what you were signed up for. So then we were harassing her for 3 years, and here we are all together. But no, it was not clear. But that's also really important, I think, for us to make this film, is that we didn't have an idea of what to tell, and we didn't come with a fixed idea of the city, the people, the crisis. Also, you never knew which turn it would take. Obviously, we were hoping for it to become better. But we also had to check our own idea of filmmaking, where it's like, does it have to end on a hopeful note? Maybe it's just not the reality, you know. Obviously now we know it's absolutely not the reality, so kind of always throwing away the ideas you have while making this was one of the biggest challenges.
yeah, I think that's it. We decided to move there and really live there and experience the place and the people, and we were walking around and talking to a lot of people and listening, and bit by bit we decided like where it feels right and where it feels right to stay and to follow. Yeah.
Would you like to reply as well?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna add like having. Okay, I think first I realized I was a part of a documentary when it was done. When it was done, the filming and all of that. Before that, I was just ignoring, I think. But no, something I really enjoyed was the fact that there was no goal, the fact that there was no, this is what we want to show and this is what we came to do, and you know, like, you know, also for like, there was a lot of coming in and understanding what the situation was and understanding how the people actually lived what they lived, not imposing an idea and saying like, no, but this is what we were going for, like this is the direction we're going to. And I think there was a lot of conversation like between us throughout the years about how do we feel about the art, about anything, you know, not necessarily just about Beirut. So it allowed also this conversation between us. Yeah.
So Matthias, you're a brave editor. You worked with two first-time directors on such a complex, rich film, right? Or spanning across 3 years, involving so many protagonists. How was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, overall it was great, but it was a lot of work. I will not lie. No, I joined quite a bit later, so they had like film for like 1.5 years or so when I joined, and then we started to like structure it a little bit, and they were like still shooting, so that was great that we could like, yeah, like what do we need, and like by the time I joined, it was not 100% clear like who all of the protagonists would be, so there were like other people where you like saw like maybe glimpses of them still in the film, and then we like really focused on these like 4 families of people, and yeah, then continued for like a little bit over a year, so still editing and but still shooting at the same time. So yeah, it was quite a journey.
Yeah, it came together really as a whole. So there's really a flow to the whole film. I find it very fascinating, and it's also connected to the fact the way you use the music in the film, which is creating really like a thread in terms of atmosphere. And I think it's not so easy to speak about the music. It's very fascinating. It's somehow hopeful and sometimes almost joyful, although it's very tragic events sometimes. But it also has a melancholy to it. It's a fascinating soundtrack, I think. It made me switch emotions so much. Could you speak about your collaboration with the musicians?
Keep that ambivalence in it as well. Yeah. And they did a wonderful job. HVB, yeah, but they can't be here, unfortunately, right?
But we're lucky because they did not only do our soundtrack, they're also in the film. So the party scene where Andrea is raving, it's the concert of HVB, so they are in the film and they made our soundtrack. And they have a good hand in handling, you know, delicate feelings and power at the same time.
Yeah, the party scene was actually like the first piece of music that was like fixed. We were like, okay, this is the music we're gonna use.
So I'm really curious to hear some reactions from the audience, actually. Would you like to share some impressions? This is the first screening of the film, and I'm sure the directors and everyone here is really excited and curious how you saw this film, what you felt, what you thought. Do you have comments or questions, or are you still overwhelmed? You can also share that.
We are so proud because you made this film. We are all of us Lebanese.
Other reactions? Take your time. We'll come back to you. So this is the beginning of the film's career. I'm very curious, what will be the next steps? Like, where will it be showing? Are you planning to show it in Beirut, in Lebanon? Are festivals screening? Yeah.
I mean, obviously we plan to show it there, but right now, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you follow the news. If you haven't, you should. And yeah, no, none of us is going to Beirut anytime soon. But yeah, the festival, the film is traveling to festivals now. We're gonna have a Germany premiere at Max Ophüls, and we will. Oh, I can't tell. Okay, I didn't say that. Okay.
So now we have a secret all together.
So yeah, it will come to cinemas in Austria next year. Am I allowed to say that? Thank you. And to Beirut whenever it's possible, and hopefully that is sooner than later, but nobody knows.
How is it with critical films currently in Lebanon? Is it possible to show anything? Or, I mean,
now life is on pause. Like,
everything is on pause. Yeah.
most of things, because it's like basically a war now. So yeah, no, there's not anytime soon. Yeah.
But we have hope.
It will be soon.
It will be.
Inshallah.
We will back all of us to Beirut.
Inshallah نرجع نروح سوا.
I'm also asking because in the film, like dealing with crisis through art is so present, and I'm fascinated by that choice, like of putting it so central in the film. Like there's the painter, there's you, who's dancing and doing a lot of body work, and you're dealing with your own past and your emotions and your trauma also very vividly and very honestly on screen. So could you talk about that choice of putting art or movement or dance so central in the film?
I think simply that's because we also attracted by it, so I would say that's a big reason for it.
And I would say that art heals also. I would say that art, and keep on doing art, so we were always talking about how can we keep on giving a class, like maybe this side of Lebanon, of Beirut is safe, and this side of Beirut is safe, and the fact of we're going to keep on moving, we're going to keep on dancing, we're going to keep on planning. So I'm planning something for Beirut in October next year, which I still hope that it will happen, and then you're all welcome there. No, but I think it's also a way of resisting. It's a way of saying we're here and we're not leaving, and it's not going to change, and it's our country, and we're going to keep on fighting for it by doing arts and by working.
And I would like to add that when we lived there or when we spent time there, I was always really fascinated, because I feel like in Austria, where we make art, it's a lot like, if you don't get the funds, you don't do the project. If the money is not there, you're not doing it. And in Lebanon or in Beirut, it's just, there's so much urgency. So you do it because you have to. And because if you wouldn't know where to go with your thoughts or with your feelings or with, basically, I mean, you can describe it better, but there's, it is to stay sane, and it is to do something, and it is to be political, and there's so much urgency behind everything, and I was very impressed. And there's literally everybody is singing, painting, writing, like everybody is, and you can really tell that the whole society is coping through art. So it wasn't us picking artists, they're just everywhere. They are everywhere, like everyone is. And that is impressive to see, and it's I think we could, you know, cut a slice from that and get back to that state, because it's good.
So that's a statement for art. More statements?
I have a comment.
Yeah, please share it.
I really appreciate, Andrea, your comment about how the film did not start with a goal. I feel so often filmmakers will go into a place that is not theirs from the beginning with a goal to tell a story about the people living there, and they will work and do whatever they can to still tell the story that they envision, and it can feel very exploited. And I appreciate that this does not feel that at all. And I have so much admiration for you and respect for you know, for you all as directors, for taking that on. I also appreciate that it ended without with this feeling of uncertainty, and which is how I felt, but I feel a little bit of warmth from what you have said, that you have hope, and I think I think that's important to get here today.
No, we know, not hope. We know
We
that
know
we will
it.
stand up
Yes.
again. We will stand up again. Yeah, we know it. We know.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
More comments from your side?
We are survivors. All survivors.
Yeah, there's another one.
I don't know if this is a question or a comment or a statement, but there's a scene where the guy is he's mentioning how he's renovating his home for the second time, and it wouldn't surprise him. And I don't know if this, I just maybe want to address it to ask if what his home looks like now, or where he is right now. It was such an incredibly moving, foreboding. Okay. Did you understand?
Yeah,
what I
it's
said?
crazy that it came
Okay.
true in the end. And
Did you hear the comment in the back also? She was commenting on the scene with the person renovating his home already for the second time, and like the many layers the scene also carries. Yeah.
Yeah, because he says it's gonna happen a third time, and that is exactly what is happening. You wanna tell?
yeah, there were refugees coming from the south, and he were hosting them in his house. But now all of them left, and he has to left as well. So the house is empty right now.
Yeah, so Selim, our protagonist, when the war started and people had to flee from the south, he was taking them in, and then now basically he and everybody in the house had to leave again, so the house is empty. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious whether like the process of this film has inspired you to new projects. Like what came out of it? What did you learn from it? What questions came up for you? Or are you maybe you're also still deep into it and did not have time to take a distance or next step? Or yeah, where are you now?
For me personally, I think now is the time to step back a bit, because I was really immersed in this project. So yeah, I think it's time to breathe now.
Yeah, and I think the only thing we could think, or I can speak for myself, the only thing I could think about was follow with another film in Lebanon, because we spent all that time there and all the ideas that came to mind were there, and it's crazy to think that we will not be going there soon. And we're just very lucky that Andrea is with us here now, and we'll be able to see each other because she just moved to Berlin 2 days ago. And I guess the next thing we will do is shoot a techno music video with you. Combine belly dancing with techno music.
Oriental dance. Lebanese Oriental dance.
Yeah. No, but to be fair, I think we all need a little bit of a breather.
Okay. okay, let's take a breath outside. We can still continue the conversation. We will be upstairs, so I would like to thank you all for being here with us and sharing this very inspiring film. And I'm sure every one of us will carry many thoughts about this night with us. So thank you also for your comments and questions. And I hope to see you back at the Zurich Film Festival. Thank you again. Please give a warm applause again.
Yes, why